New York State Senator Andrew Gennardis of Brooklyn. Senator, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Take care.
WNYC support comes from RSM, an assurance, tax, and consulting firm working to empower middle-market leaders worldwide to take charge of change. RSM. Experience the power of being understood.
Public media is a refuge from commercialism, which is why you don't hear any ads on WNYC. Business support and the recognition the station provides is a critical way WNYC is able to work free from fear or favor. Your business can support our work at sponsorship.wnyc.org.
Our Common Nature is a musical journey with Yo-Yo Ma and me, Ana Gonzalez, through this complicated country.
We go into caves, onto boats, and up mountain trails to meet people, hear their stories, their poetry, and of course, play some music. All to reconnect to nature and get closer to the things we're missing.
Listen to a special 1-hour broadcast of Our Common Nature on the radio. Saturday afternoon at 2 on WNYC.
It's 6:51. Marketplace Morning Report is next, and then later on Morning Edition, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops met in Baltimore this week to elect a new leader. They also renewed their commitment to advocate on behalf of migrants in the USA. We'll get details in about 15 minutes. Still around 40 degrees right now with some clouds out there. On the way to a partly sunny day with a high temp near 50. Watch out for those strong winds gusting to 28 miles an hour. Still some high winds tonight as the temperature drops down to 41, about right where we are now. And then mostly sunny tomorrow, 51, high gusting winds and 30s overnight and gusty. It's going to be cold, really cold tomorrow night.
After 43 days, the government shutdown could end today, but when do people get paid?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by The Economist, introducing The Economist Insider, a new video offering with twice weekly shows featuring in-depth analysis and expertise. More at economist.com/insider.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. It remains unclear this morning exactly when SNAP food stamp benefits would start flowing again onto EBT cards. As soon as the government reopens after a House vote and presidential signature, payments would be authorized, but not instant in states that haven't managed to keep some food stamps coming in the interim. We're also tracking when the paychecks of government workers would start landing and the missing economic data. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has that.
We could get the September jobs report fairly quickly once the government reopens, but there's a huge question mark over the October and November employment reports. The Bureau of Labor Statistics surveys households and businesses in the week that includes the 12th day of the month for the jobs report. That didn't happen in October because the government was shut down, and it's not happening so far this week. Gregory Dacko is chief economist at EY.
We're likely to get some data over the course of the next few weeks, but it's unlikely that we get the actual November employment report before sometime in mid to late December.
The Federal Reserve's next meeting on interest rates is December 9th and 10th, and Dacko says we'll only get a partial picture of the October labor market because the federal workers who contact households to find out who's working and who's not were furloughed. Same thing for the October Consumer Price Index, which relies on federal employees who check prices at stores. All these data delays are bad news for the Fed, Dacko says.
Because we know Fed policymakers are highly data dependent, and there have been conflicting signals from the economy as to the direction of travel of employment and inflation.
At the Fed's interest rate meeting last month, Chair Jerome Powell said a December rate cut is not a foregone conclusion. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
S&P futures are up 0.3%. NASDAQ futures are up 0.4% now. We're also doing the uncomfortable math on President Trump's idea of paying off house loans not over 10, 15, or 30 years, but over 50 years. That'll be streamable from Marketplace Online later as well. The IRS has ended the Direct File program, which lets some taxpayers do their annual returns for free using government software. Now the program is dead, and the IRS is looking to deliver free access to tax filing by other means.
For the last couple of years and until a week ago, Americans had two options for filing their taxes for free online: Direct File and Free File.
So think about Free File as a public-private partnership.
Don Moynihan is professor of public policy at the University of Michigan. That Free File partnership has been around for a couple of decades. On one end is the IRS, on the other, online tax preparation companies. They provide their services for free to some taxpayers with income restrictions.
One of the limitations of Free File is that it's never really broadened its horizons to get more than a couple of percentage of the tax-paying population.
Even though most taxpayers are eligible to use it. Direct File started 2 years ago as a pilot program during the Biden administration. Daniel Werfel was IRS commissioner at the time.
It was really to have a fuller menu of options for taxpayers.
With Direct File, people with relatively simple returns file directly through an online portal run by the IRS. Answer some questions, input W-2 info, and it's done. This year, about 300,000 taxpayers used Direct File.
The taxpayers that used the system said it was really easy to use. It was clear, it was intuitive. Many of them finished the process within 30 minutes.
At this point, you're probably wondering what the catch is. Well, some Republican lawmakers were looking at the cost of the Direct File program, tens of millions of dollars and counting. And they also are hearing complaints from the lobby representing tax preparation companies. Last year, during a hearing, Republican Senator Mike Crapo said Direct File was inefficient.
Were the IRS to use this year's Direct File spending to pay third-party providers to prepare and file returns instead, literally hundreds of times the number of taxpayers could file for free.
The die was cast earlier this year when the Trump administration reduced the staff working on Direct File by 80%. Last week, it officially killed the program.
How long have we been talking about free public tax preparation? 80 years.
Vanessa Williamson wrote a new book on U.S. tax history. It's called The Price of Democracy. Williamson says even though Direct File did not survive, it still laid important groundwork.
Direct File is a model for states, and it's a model for the federal government in the future if we ever decide that we want to make government services easy again.
In a report to Congress, the Treasury Department said while it's killing Direct File, it will boost Free File instead, including by increasing its promotion to taxpayers. I'm Novasafo for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Wealth Enhancement, offering its Wealth Blueprint plan through advisors nationwide. It integrates retirement, investing, taxes, and more into one plan. Learn more at wealthenhancement.com/build. And by Yubico, makers of the YubiKey. YubiKey helps protect important digital applications and services. YubiKey, still undefeated, the original passkey. More at yubico.com.
Now to Brazil for the big UN climate summit. While the U.S. has not sent an official delegation, dozens of state and local officials are now in the city of Belém. This includes California Governor Gavin Newsom, who presides over a state with a population the size of Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland, and Belgium combined. The BBC's environment correspondent Matt McGraw reports.
To warm applause in a hot and humid pavilion, California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom came to the COP to reassure participants that the U.S. was still committed on climate at state level. Governor Newsom wasn't alone. Around 100 state and city officials from different parts of the United States came to show their commitment to tackling rising temperatures. While the American politicians were welcomed, some delegates were a little bit wary, having seen the United States enter and leave various climate agreements over the past 2 decades. Longtime climate talks participant Mohamed Adao from Kenya said that while he understood that many people in the US were still committed on climate, the rest of the world wasn't going to sit around and wait for them to come back.
Matt McGrath at the Global Climate Meeting in Belém, Brazil. In Los Angeles, I'm David Brancaccio. This is the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.
WNYC support comes from